A good buddy of mine, he reached out to me yesterday, and he told me a story that I think just sums up modern dating for a lot of men right now. He met a woman organically in passing out in public. Maybe he was at the store or something, but she actually initiated a conversation with him, and they had some back and forth, and things were clicking. They had some real chemistry. He noticed that, and he's around my age. I think he said that she's 39, but he said she looked like she was in her early 30s, and she was just a delightful person. She had a good personality, and he wanted to get to know her, and so. Yeah, he was confident, and he said, "Hey, you should get my number." And so she took down his number, and she texted him, and then boom, had her number. And then over the next few days, they were, according to him, they were having a really good conversation. And he said it seemed very, very effortless, right? She didn't take a long time to text back, and she was not just giving just one word answers or one sentence. Like, she was really engaging with him over text message, and they were having just really, really, really good back and forth, even in that context. And so he thought that, yeah, this has some potential. This can go somewhere. They shared that obviously you want to share the foundational things that you need to have in common are your values and things like that, your worldview, not necessarily like secondary stuff is like taste in music and movies, which they had. He said that they both had the same taste in movies and music, and he's a pretty funny dude. So he, a lot of the times he'll joke around, he'll use movie references, and she found those hilarious. She liked the movies, was familiar with them, used the same references. So she found him to be hilarious and clever, which he is. And it was even just the day after meeting her, while they were still texting, she invited him over to her place, just impromptu, mid-text conversation. She said that she felt, because they were having kind of a deep conversation, it might have been like a little like conspiratory or something, and she flirtingly was like saying like, this feels like a drink and hammock chair situation, and she had both available if he'd like to discuss, right, to come over. And he wanted to, but he already made plans, so he asked for a rain check. I don't know what he was going to go hang out with somebody already. He already had something on the books. So, but her response was that maybe he should put his plans off until the weekend and hang out with her, essentially. But then she said she was just teasing and hoped that his time was enjoyable. But yeah, they continued, of course, to text back and forth throughout the week, and it was maybe I think he said it was like 3 days later when he finally went over to her place for drinks and to hang out in her hammocks, and he was pretty confident that things would go in a romantic direction that night, right? So he got there, and he said that she was like, she was in her kitchen on like the counter, like standing up by the island, and she had a bunch of these like joke stickers that she was going through that she bought online, and so yeah, they were just joking back and forth, and then she offered to make him a drink. I think he said she made him like a French 75, but she needed the recipe. So she grabbed her MacBook that was also on the island, and he was like next to her, and she opened it up, and he noticed her iMessage was open on her laptop, and it was he saw a text from her friend that was popped up on there, plain as day, like one of her female friends that asked, "How's?" So it had my friend's name. So her female friend was asking, how's he? And then below that it said, "How's Joe?" Some other guy. So in one text. So she's asking about my friend and some other guy. And he was like, he saw it and he read it out loud just to acknowledge he saw that. And he was like questioning it, since this, he doesn't know Joe, Joe Schmo, Joe Black. But he was a little suspicious of that text, but he said it out loud. He like just read it out loud, and she kind of brushed it off and deflected, and he was just like, whatever. And he didn't talk about it or anything. He just kept talking to her about other things, and then they went outside and sat on the hammocks, and he said they listened to a lot of a lot of nostalgic music, and he said it kind of felt like whenever he used to hang out with a girl in his 20s, right? Just kind of just had that mood, just that I don't know. It's hard to explain. You know what I'm talking about if you've been with a woman like in your 20s. It felt like they were, I guess, young again or something. But he said they had more great conversation, then they took a walk, and then they came back and they hung out in her kitchen where they were continually listening to more nostalgic music, and then eventually she leaned in and she kissed him, and then then they ended up pretty much just passionately making out in her kitchen for 4 hours, and then I think he said he got to her place at like 11:30, and by it was like maybe around like 1:30 or something. That's when he thinks that's when she like kissed him, and then they basically made out until like 4:30 in the morning, and then he left. He walked home, and then she shortly after texted him, just saying like, "Yo, hope you made it home okay." And then she cracked a joke saying like she heard traffic is a little rough out there, since he was like walking. And so all in all, he thought it was a successful night, and that this was going to be the start of a potential relationship. Because yeah, she was pretty, she was funny, they had chemistry, she was easy to talk to. He just said that it felt effortless and easy, right? So, but then 4 days went by. Crickets. Not a word from her. Not a word. Not a single text, nothing. And so finally, he reached out to her. He sent her a text just saying, "Hey, had a great time the other night. We should do it again soon." A few hours rolled by, nothing, and then he got a text from her saying that, yeah, it was a good time for sure. And then she says, "Some things shifted on my romantic front in the last few days, which is why I've been quieter. I'm not sure I'll be able to hang out in the same capacity as we did last time, but I really enjoyed our conversations, or our convos or something." So yeah, just very, very vague, almost HR language, right? And from my perspective, she was clearly friend zoning him for another dude. And how much you want to bet that other dude was the guy that her friend was asking about, this Joe guy, or John, whatever the frick his name was. But thankfully, my friend, he has self-respect, and his response to that text was just, "No worries, I'm not really interested in being friends. Wish you well," right? And see, that's how you handle that situation, right? You just cut it off cleanly, and you don't play into the whole I'm not going to be romantic with you anymore, but I'll be your friend. Like, you cannot be friends with a woman you're attracted to, that you made out with, that you had romantic feelings for, right? Never accept that offer to be her platonic friend. You're just gonna torture yourself and disrespect yourself. But then her response to him was like, "Ah, that's fair. I didn't anticipate things shifting on my side, or I'd have been more cautious. I appreciate the clarity with your direct response. Take it easy, mister." Well, women, they're so used to men begging or negotiating or giving pushback in a situation like that. If anything, she probably is more attracted to him now. Maybe even second guessed her decision, because it's like that scene on Seinfeld, one of those episodes where he's at the diner with his girlfriend, and she's like, "Jerry, I don't think we should see each other anymore." And he's like, "Oh, okay, no problem." He's like, I'll find someone else. And she's like, "What?" She's very taken aback. She's not expecting him to be so nonchalant and carefree about it. So that's a huge pattern interrupt for women. If you don't argue or anything, if they dump you, or they friend zone you, if they do any of those things, and you have no reaction, you're just like, okay, then it really bothers them. Actually, if anything, it makes them feel self-conscious, because they're like, what? He's supposed to be mad at me. He's supposed to fight with me. He's supposed to do all these things. And if you don't do it, then they're just like, what just happened? So I encourage everyone who's in that situation to do just that. Just say like, yeah, okay, right? No big theatrics, nothing. Just be like, okay, sure, whatever. So, but later on, I went over to one of my one of my female friends, and I brought it up to her. I brought up the text that she had sent him, and asked, what was she doing when she said that? Like I said that it seemed to me like she was just friend zoning him out of nowhere. And she said, she was, but she was also what she was doing. Because she was like, yeah, I know 100% what she's doing. She was friend zoning him, but she was also keeping the door open just in case the other guy doesn't work out, right? So what she did was she demoted my friend to a platonic friend, or offered to be his friend, but wanted to keep him as a backup just in case, right? Just in case Joe didn't work out, she could come crawling back to him. But keep in mind here, all of this unfolded from her meeting him and them talking, and then them making out, and then her ghosting him, and then getting rejected in friend zone and all that stuff, and that was a week. That was just a week. 'Cause yeah, he I think he met her on a Sunday, and then he said that they were hanging out that Friday, right? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then they were making out and all that stuff. And then 4 days of ghosting. And then throughout those days, that's when she had this change in her, whatever she said, her romantic front. So it's just, oh man, dude. Women, LOL. But yeah, good on my friend for having that self-respect to reject that. But unfortunately, the reason why I tell this story is a lot of men, they will accept that. They'll be like, yeah, okay, just in the hopes that things don't work out with the other guy, and then they'll linger around as long as it takes for for him to finally go away, and then they can finally have their shot again. That's when you turn into a simp. That is what a simp is. Don't ever be that guy, right? But yeah, the guy she chose over my friend, like it's just the guy she chose over my friend. Who knows, man? Maybe it was that guy in that text message. Maybe it was some other guy that just popped up back into her life, and they already had history. Maybe she was talking to another guy with him. There are a bunch of different possibilities. I'm sure it was the guy that she was that her friend asked about in that text message along with him. But yeah, it goes to show that women are never just talking to you. Yeah, they're always talking to other dudes. And you can really hit it off with them, like he did. And they can still choose another guy. And they can all do it in the span of a week or less. Having strong chemistry it still isn't enough. It's not the guarantee that a lot of men think it is. You're as far as I see it, the way that I see it, you're always going to be one of multiple options, always. And never accept the lesser role. Walk away and keep your self-respect intact. Because I guarantee it, when things don't work out with that one guy, she's gonna hit him up. She's gonna text him one of those like, hey stranger, long time no see, right? If a woman treats you like my buddy got treated, right? And then tries to come back into your life and get romantic again just because things didn't work out with the guy that she picked over you, don't allow her back in. Do not do that, because if you do that, that's a total simp move too. The bottom line, she made her choice and it wasn't you. So no second chances for her, right? You're not gonna simp and be her fallback, right? Her second choice. Don't ever be the backup, ever. Ever. Just be freaking Tony Soprano and be like, hey, get the fuck out of here. All right, I don't want you. You had your chance with me. You made your choice. You chose Joe, and then Joe didn't work out. Well, barking up the wrong tree, honey.